It's March 3rd, 2024. Okay, today at Trinity Gospel, some little kids were talking. They said no one's to say a word to her. That girl they were all helping out, doing this for, they found out she was nothing but a stripper and a prostitute. She even may have AIDS, and she's dirty. No one's to say a word to her. Okay? Well, their whole scam is so unbelievable that nobody could believe it in the right mind. No one could. If you actually think about it, nobody could believe it. I mean, you look at HIPAA violation. Your doctor cannot talk to anybody without your written consent. It's a 10-year sentence and a $250,000 fine. And then you can sue them for millions. You impersonate a doctor, it's 1 to 10. Like they said, it wasn't even funny. They said they had a doctor. And they didn't even think it was funny. They said they had sodium pentothal reports where they were roofing me and date rape drugging me, drug me up and telling me to say stuff. And I only knew that I was throwing up, heart racing, headache, almost passing out, and severe personal infection. And I was blaming everything on the well water. I thought it was orange brown before we got the water treatment system. And just washing my hands after to go to the bathroom in it. Or take a fast shower. I thought it was eating my skin, making me infected. I even thought it was making me sick and dizzy, that it was that toxic. The bruising, I almost thought I had cancer. If that idiot's beating on me, why am I not waking up? And then I'm waking up with bruises in the middle of the day. I almost thought it was giving me cancer. I'd never seen anybody before the FBI, nor did I talk to anybody, nor did I have them in my home. You talk about scary movies, shadow sexual predators. And then the stupid thing of a retired judge. Retired judges have no authority. They can't touch anything with a conflict of interest. And as if a retired judge would be above the law, be able to drug, beat, and rape somebody and stalk some wife of his little baby girl's new boyfriend. And that he could drug her up, beat, and rape her, and frame her. He'd go to jail. You can't exploit someone. And they get in trouble. And here it's that stripper, her brother Alex, in a beard. Okay? And it's one of their drug friends impersonating a doctor from Altman Hospital. I would own them. If it was a real doctor, I would own them. Where they, on December 30th, 23, in Altman Emergency Room, I'm in there with a client. They said no one's allowed to talk to these people. They were even impersonating a doctor from Altman Hospital selling people's information. Okay? They even said it was impersonating. Okay? And no one's to back those doctors before them. Oh my God, they were even lying so bad. They told her she had brain tumors and there was nothing wrong with her. And they were ripping off her insurance and it was a medication making her sick. No one's ever backed medication errors and people ripping off people's insurances. No one's ever backed that. And two of the officers walked by. Those doctors were lying before. He said, yes, there was nothing wrong with her. And it was the medication making her sick. It's documented medical malpractice and documented medication errors. They encouraged Dave and I to sue him for 2 years. Okay? Dave told Danny he hired Pete on his own. Pete is actually Alex, that stripper's brother, impersonating a retired judge. Nobody remembers. Do you realize even if they were slightly related to him, they could, like Officer Reinhardt said, the whole county couldn't work a case against your life. I went to the Portage County Sheriff's. That officer's mouth dropped open. What these people are saying they did is illegal. We had no knowledge of it. And what they're saying they did is illegal, Miss Hall. It was none of our officers in your home, nor did we know anything of it. And what they did is illegal. I said it's the Fourth Amendment. Yes. Police and agencies can only be in a home under a threat of life with statements. He said yes. That's where Officer Reinhardt in Louisville. I don't care what they say they got. I don't care what they say they did. Until that agent agreed to take your statement and agree to protect you and have statements of threat of life of everyone that lived in that home, they couldn't even be in your home. They would go to jail. Even the FBI. It's a Fourth Amendment over the house. No one's allowed in your home but protected like cases with statements. And that's where I talked to my one friend from the Stark County Prosecutor's Office. It's a big fraud scheme. Where you had bruises you couldn't explain, sick and throwing up and almost passing out. They probably were drugging you up and telling you to say something stupid. He said, it's a fraud scheme. And where they laugh in your face that they put a shower scene in the other room, they probably did. But they did the biggest mistake they did at your house. It's a Fourth Amendment. No one can look or listen to it. Okay? That's where, even the Ravenna police, what you did is illegal. Massillon police, it's not admissible. Dave told Danny he hired Pete on his own, and Pete's actually Alex, that stripper's brother, with the white-haired guy with his hair parted on the side. If you want to know who did it, 12/20/118 in protective custody. There's a video of him bashing my skull. He admitted he left his coma on a dresser, and he was holding me down during that assault in protective custody. See, nobody could fall for that scam. They knew no one was allowed in my home. They knew it was illegal to look and listen. And those agents, like they said, how stupid were they, laughing at me on a recorded line, that they knew who was doing it and what they were doing and mocking me. They stole my money. They embezzled it. They opened the account to steal from the federal government, from the informant program. Acknowledge he had spoke to the church people in that family that I had nothing to do with that traffic accident. 15 years before, at that time, it's like 20 now. 21 years. Her father speeding, runs a stop sign into a semi and kills himself and their kid. And they're getting all this attention for 6 months. And the minister thought I caught his son in adultery. And here it's my sister. And he says, oh, she was faking love over the last 4 years. Yeah, right. Even Dave told him it was a medicine making me sick before. And then he thought they were putting me on morphine patches. I was on fentanyl, stronger. And that it was a medication making me sick. And I slowly got well over 9 months. That agent went and told 500 to 900 people before he talked to me after the hotline. At Apostolic Church of Barberton, there was over 300 people when he was telling on me. After I called the hotline, they had drugged me up so bad I couldn't get out of bed for a few days. And before I even called him back at that church that night, he was up there telling on me. Okay? And it was witnessed by the police. It was him. Dave told Danny he talked to him. Okay? And he told them he knew I was being drugged, being raped, and he tried to blame Strange's lie. Strange's lie. I talked to a criminal attorney. Your ex-husband can't hire someone on his own. No one can be in your home. It's the Fourth Amendment. He said that agent can't withhold your money either. It's for working the case. And for working the case only. And he can't ask you to stay quiet. He's only a higher police officer. See, that's where the sheriff's out of this area. What's wrong with your local police? They should have arrested that agent the first day. He can't do any of this. It's not in the court order for me to stay quiet. Like my friend from the prosecutor's office, no sitting judge would ever write his own arrest warrant by breaking any constitutional laws of taking your freedom of speech away. And no, he would never write a court order for someone to watch you at your home either before, outside a protective custody case with statements. They'd be writing their own arrest warrant. That's where Dave told Danny how Pete on his own, and Pete's actually Alex. The stripper's brother scamming the FBI. They punked the FBI. And I don't even believe they punked him. He just thought he had the perfect victim. This poor thing's been drugged up so bad she don't know what's happening to her. She's going to the doctor. I got all these bruises I can't explain. My muscles are hurting. Did you fall? No. I've been throwing up, headache, dizzy. I know we went from regular water to well water, and it's really dirty, and I can't even go to the bathroom. My private area is so swollen. Here I'm being drugged, being raped. And I'm blaming the well water. Just washing in it. That's the only thing I knew. I thought it was the well water. And he told Apostolic Church of Barberton he knew I was being drugged, being raped, and didn't care. And he tried to blame Strange's lie. And he even told him he was going to turn me back over to him. He wasn't going to help me before he listed me in informant. Investigators up in Akron said, don't say a word. We went up to that church. He did tell those people that. None of this is funny. Yesterday in Grinders on North Kent, some men were talking. They found out it was FBI agent, or it was Agent John that told them. It was. For FBI agent John fell for the stun of tapes before. Oh, come on now. That FBI agent fell for a stun of tapes before. John fell for it? You're kidding. Oh, come on. It was just a stunt. And that agent fell for it? FBI agent John fell for the stun of tapes before. Ha, 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 ha. screaming at Walmart 62, June 7th, 23. Like the Stark County Sheriff in uniform last Saturday at Faith Family Church. We all know they opened an informant program. I didn't think it was funny how that agent talked to her. And they have a top watcher. And we all know they made fun of him. They need to arrest him. He's embezzled over $300,000 from the federal government. You know, perfect victim. Don't know what's going on. Doctors not putting it together. Sexual predators, drug beating, raping me. They're not even putting it together, and they're treating all the symptoms of it because they never seen anybody and never talked to anybody. They didn't even put it together. Perfect victim. So drugged up she don't know what's happening to her. Stole from a human trafficking victim. That's how sick he is. He knew they had kiddie porn that they were taping in the bathrooms, the shower scene in the other room, and he didn't arrest him for kiddie porn. He didn't arrest him for human trafficking someone. Trying to use a pathetic excuse of a lie. You can't even feel sorry for the Vegas. Her father's speeding so fast that he runs a stop sign showing off in front of the other church people. My whole family's at home. And he blows through into a semi and it explodes the vehicle and their kid gets ejected and he gets tore up in pieces. It was his fault for showing off. And I was almost well in April and that happened in May of 2003. I've been working with Eli since November of 2002. And it took 9 months for me to learn to walk again. In July, I finally got well, and then Strange made up that lie in November of 2003. When he thought he caught his son in adultery. It was a shitty, mean lie, but it took away from their attention. So it made him mad. And then they waited 15 years to have me drug beat and raped. That's what psychopaths are. They get, they feel excitement, joy, happiness. But they can't feel sorry for you, remorse, empathy, or sympathy. That's why, and they say it's genetic. That's why Phil didn't know it was wrong to speed with his grandkid in the car and to run a stop sign. He was getting the excitement of showing off, and it killed them both. And then, where they're mad and hurt, they took all their hurt and pain out of them. They just victimized somebody. That agent would know that. He's trained to know that. But he had a perfect victim he could steal from. But with him talking to Strange's church in Blaylocks, there's 200 or 300 more in each church. 500 to 900 people he told before he talked to me. Could you imagine the sideshow? Dave walking in with a stripper girlfriend, her brother in a cheesy disguise. And a man saying he's a doctor selling information and they got fake sodium pentothal reports to a federal agent. He didn't nail him. Voyeurism is taking pictures of people naked without their permission. Photoshopping like shower scenes is sextortion. Then they have drugs, human trafficking, kidnapping, assault. They have kiddie porn of my grandkids using the bathroom. Exploiting women and children. He didn't arrest them. I know a retired CIA agent. She said, you know, it's ridiculous that agent did not arrest them the first day and take care of you. It's absolutely ridiculous. He's got a lot of explaining to do. Because what's he going to say? Oh, they drugged her and told her to say this, or they drugged her and told her to say that, or they photoshopped a washing scene or a feminine thing. And they made fun of you for falling for it in a sextortion act when you know everything can be photoshopped from words to scenes? Huh? You put people's heads on other people's bodies. You can do anything in the world. And there were stocky tapes, and he was to arrest him by federal law. He was to arrest him and uphold the Constitution. You cannot withhold any money or assets or misdirect it, 14th Amendment. You cannot withhold protection, 14th Amendment. You cannot tell someone they can't say anything. It takes a judge and a sequestered or grand jury to put a gag order on you. Even a criminal attorney, prosecutor's office, and police departments, that agent was only a higher police officer and cannot ask you to stay quiet. And it got to the point, 500 to 900 people already knew. Before he talked to me, he confessed he talked to all of them. Then they sold the login within the first month, and it went viral across the nation. I had people from California, Washington State, Texas. It was Utah or was it Wyoming? People showed up. I had Indiana, Illinois, Michigan, Tennessee, Kentucky, Pennsylvania, New York, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, and Florida. I had a 2-mile-long brigade. A lot of them were human traffickers and a lot of them were drug traders, but then some good people showed up to help protect me. I want you to think about that. And I'll give you another one. I went to Mulligan's Pub for lunch with a client on a Tuesday within the last few months. And I can't remember when I went. But we had to move a booth down up on the balcony. A guy walks across. He has that Middle Eastern look, the black hair, black beard, dark eyes. He walks up to some guy sitting there. I told you she's too old for us. And what we need. He said, well, they had to laser off her face before they'll fill in the lines in her nose and her eyes. She weighs too much. Well, we can make sure she loses weight. Okay. Now, if you talk to the originals, in April to July of 19, he's in Giant Eagle in Louisville with this little kid. What about her? And they pointed at me. He said, she's too old for what we need. He's been stalking me for 5 years. He looks like the Texas group, the human traffickers, the Kingsmen. They said some guy online, somebody's trying to sell me online. What officer was assigned to me on Tuesdays within the last few months, the day that I went to Mulligan's Pub and got the sandwiches with my client? Because we had to move down because they were talking so loud. Because I'll tell you what, you talk to the originals, they got a video of that guy saying that in Giant Eagle in 19. He's still watching me 5 years later. Okay. All right, so, oh Lord, this is, you know, that little kid today in Trinity Gospel, we were all told that girl that they were all doing all this for, she's nothing but a stripper or prostitute, and she may have AIDS and she's dirty. Nobody's to say a word to her. About time you start looking at Michelle's dirty. You know, in the Bible, Herod, this lady's daughter danced for him, and he got so excited, offered him, you know, everything, or so much of everything. She wanted John the Baptist's head. Cost him his life. Then you looked at David and Bathsheba. He killed her husband to cover up their adultery. That's usually where adultery ends up. If it's not taken in, the marriage isn't dissolved in divorce or however. The other person just wants the other person's place and they just don't care if they get rid of them. They are dirty. And these people are psychopaths. And so is that family. Or, you know what? Like they said, if it wasn't a call, they would have never said a word. And they would have never had anybody touch me. And where did people think it was funny? Because they didn't know me, that it was okay for them to drug me and rape me. And for a retired judge's daughter. And it wasn't even a retired judge's daughter. It was a stripper prostitute that probably does have AIDS. And her brother's scamming everybody. So you have to pull back the facade of who these people are impersonating. And that was no doctor from Altman Hospital. I would be a millionaire. A millionaire. I would own that place. For HIPAA violations and then personal injuries. You do realize that. And if it was a retired, where would a retired judge with no authority have a right to human traffic somebody who tried to beat and rape him and stalk him? No man's above the law. He would go to jail. Where did you think it was okay to do it for them? And then you find out it's nothing but a dirty prostitute? And a brother and another drug friend scamming people? That's when people start finding it really not funny. Shouldn't have found it funny in the first place. Shouldn't have found it funny in the first place. And where was that agent laughing at a victim? On a recorded line. If you listen to the recorded line, he talks to me like a bastard. An absolute bastard. And then you think nobody's that stupid. And anybody in law enforcement would know better. And they would know the Constitution and they were breaking every law they could. He would know better. Because, see, that's where people, even on January 9th, 24, Belden, what was that agent thinking? We looked it up. That guy wasn't even a doctor. All he had to do is Google Pete and his last name, and to find out he's 75, 85 years old, and that's not his 18-year-old daughter. He wouldn't have one that young. Huh? And that he wouldn't have a right in my home, and Dave couldn't hire a stalker. See, that's where a criminal attorney, he can't hire someone to watch you on his own. And nobody can be in your home. That's where the prosecutor's office, nobody can be in your home. That's where the police departments, even the FBI, can't be in your home. Nobody can. And no sitting judge would write their own arrest warrant. He had no right to even ask you to stay quiet. At that point, why would you stay quiet? He told on me. And then he stole my money, and he did it on purpose to victimize a victim. That's where I've talked to other sheriffs out of this area. He stole your money and let all this happen to you. You are not that agent's only victim or his first. They go back through his cases, they will find out that he's been embezzling from before. And he doesn't have the right to ask you to stay quiet. Why would you? Everybody know. Like they said, everybody knows what's going on but her family. I'm going to upload this.